Welcome to Human Design Powered Business. I'm Victoria Gibson, and every week I am sharing how you can harness your human design to unlock more flow, leverage, and opportunity within your business. So let's dive in. Hello again. It's so nice to have you here. There's a common trap that's sabotaging too many brilliant women, and it's not a new phenomenon. It's overthinking and the mind. Our mind, we've been taught, has been our greatest asset as smart women. But did you know it could also be your greatest liability? If you're in the midst of evolving your business, scaling to the next level, breaking free from burnout or boredom, or creating something more aligned, this episode is your quick guide to getting clear without the mental grind. We'll explore what the mind center in human design really is, why it's a powerhouse for creating concepts, but a pitfall for decision making, and how to use it for effortless growth, business evolution, and expansion that is actually sustainable. I've been coaching with 3 clients today where it may be a coincidence, but they've all had their heads defined. So we found the blocks of where perhaps their mind has been keeping them from making great decisions in their business and allowing them to make that next leap. So I want to explain some of the reasons why you might be overthinking your business and reveal how you can trust your natural knowing using human design instead. By the end, you'll have some tips to evolve your business with peace, not pressure, and escape the relentless trap of overthinking and stop it from blocking your business. The mind center in human design, also known as the Ajna center, is the hub of mental processing. It's one of the 9 energy centers, and obviously it sits up here just between your eyebrows, okay? It's all about logic, analysis, conceptualization, and those aha moments of insight. It's not designed to initiate action, and it's certainly not here to make decisions. Instead, it's your command center for thinking through ideas, solving problems, and strategizing. So for many of us, this can feel like a superpower. Like we've been told we're smart forever. Like, you're so smart, like just go and figure that out, all that sort of stuff. And you think, oh, I can do a plan like nobody's business. My mind helps me analyze market trends. I can just figure this out if I just sit here long enough and work through it. But here's the thing. While the mind is incredible for brainstorming and innovation, it's a trap when we let it drive our business decisions. I've seen this in my own business evolution time and time again, from over analyzing every single next move to getting caught in the weeds on figures and going, well, should I spend more or should I stop? Or to feeling stuck in these relentless mental loops where you're trying to make sense of something that maybe you're just not going to be able to make sense of with your mind. Because the truth is, it drowns out the power of my own type and strategy in human design. It dulls my knowing. The mind loves certainty, but in business, certainty is an illusion. So when we rely on the mind for making choices, we invite confusion, doubt, and mental anxiety. Chasing certainty is like going to a government department looking for a quick fix, okay? It's frustrating and exhausting. Bureaucracy is not fun. It does not create freedom, it doesn't create flow, and it doesn't create breakthroughs. Bureaucracy creates blocks, basically. Going to our mind to make decisions is like creating our own mental bureaucracy, our own bureaucracy of the brain. And for brilliant women like you, this trap shows up in business evolution as overthinking. You're striving for flow, recognition, and validation, but your mind keeps spinning. Is this the right strategy? What if it fails? Should I pivot or scale? It drowns out your inner knowing, leading to energy blocks caused by expectation, where you've been chasing perfect plans, or complication, where you're layering strategy over strategy. I've been there. Evolving my business from hustle to alignment has meant confronting my mind's pressure head on. And trust me, it is within my incarnation cross, my life theme, to have my mind to my throat. So I've got the 43-23. I have this mind pressure. I have the tendency to want to know. I have a lot of the knowing circuitry, if you know about that in human design as well. So I just think I know everything. And that is not great because, of course, it feels like a confident place to make decisions, but it's actually not where my authority is. My authority is my heart. I need to look at what is my will? What is my heart's desire to make a decision? And it wasn't until I decoded my human design that I realized what the power of the mind and its role in decision making was, which is not to make any decisions. It's here to process information, create concepts, and work through stuff, not make final decisions. Okay. So I've learned how to use it for what it's good for, but I don't let it lead or decide. So, what do you need to know about the mind, or the ajna, as it's sometimes called, for your next business evolution? Well, first, know that it can be defined or undefined, okay? So the definition within our chart, when you have a look at your human design life chart, you'll see those 9 centers. They kind of look like the chakras. So your definition is where those centers are colored in. So if you go to your mind, like there's 2 of the centers above your neck, pretty much in a human design. And the lower one is your mind, or your ajna center. I like to call it the mind center. I think it's easier because what is ajna? It's like, but if you're a purist, sure, ajna. And you might see this if you have a chart from somewhere else. And then the other is often referred to as the mind, which can be a little confusing, but I like to call that the crown. Okay. And it's the only center that sort of sits outside the body, because it's where you're going to be taking in information. Okay. Now you can this will apply just often to both centers when they're both defined, but largely because it's rare that you're going to have your mind and your crown defined, because having your crown defined is quite rare. There's only 3 gates in there that can hook up to make that happen. And this will show a lot of the same patterns of overthinking if you haven't got the awareness of how to move into your type and your authority instead. So, but if we're talking about the mind or the ajna, if it's defined, you have consistent mental energy for logic and analysis. It's great for creating content, planning, strategizing, but it's not designed for making your decisions. And if it's open or undefined, external opinions can pressure you into overthinking too. Either way, the key is balance. The mind is for processing, not deciding. It's a difference between intelligence and intellect. But the big challenge, the mind's not self-theme, is doubt and confusion. The big challenge is the mental anxiety that happens within the mind. This is the fear of the mind, and this is almost like ignited as soon as you go there to try and make decisions. Okay, this is what overthinking is driven by, but it's also what it perpetuates, right? You just get stuck in that overthinking anxiety loop. Like the more you think, the more fears come up and the more anxiety happens. And then that anxiety drives you to try and figure it out from your mind instead of going to your authority, because you think that's where your wisdom is. But it's not wisdom for making decisions. It's not designed to do that. It's designed to only be able to make a decision in like a split second now, right? It's not designed to make decisions about the future, because it's only going to go to the past, right? And that is not going to help you evolve, okay? So as you try your hardest to make sense of things, to make the right choices, to grow, expand, and succeed, you're likely to fall into the mind trap during this evolution, where you're wondering how to decide whether to scale your program, create a new offer, what is the next big shift in your business, when to do a launch, what kind of business model to use, or how to reset your business after feeling burnt out. Your mind will convince you to analyze endlessly. What if I'm wrong? I need more data. Your mind will just convince you to try and get certain, to try and drown out any fears or anxiety with a push that creates more pressure, that creates more anxiety. It's crazy, but it just keeps you stuck in that cycle. Your mind convinces you to analyze endlessly. What if I'm wrong? Is that the right figures? Is this the right move for me? What is someone else doing? All that kind of stuff. This creates mental pressure, blocking the effortless leaps you crave. And here's how to evolve your business without the trap. Number 1, use the mind for its strengths. Leverage your mind for concepts, for ideas, and journal them. Analyze trends, brainstorm offers, pay attention to what is happening in the market, but use that as fuel to drive what you can process, what you might map out, what you might conceptualize, or perhaps the frameworks that you're going to create. Like, I love using the power of my mind for the insights and creating frameworks and concepts. Like, one of the tendencies of mine is to want to create alliterations and steps that all have the same letter and start and create those frameworks and ideas. I just love doing that. I do that with this business success codes, which are part of my Your Solution program, where, I've got every code starts with a P. And I don't know, my mind just totally has the ability to crack those out. I started, doing it about in 2015 with the M's when I did my message to market program. Everything had an M. Then in my coach code, everything had a C. I don't know. My mind's brilliant for that. It's horrible for making decisions though. So use it for its strengths. The second is to defer to your authority for making decisions. Don't let your mind decide. As a hard authority like mine, ask, does this feel like a promise I can keep? For sacral generators, wait for the aha response that's in your gut. Okay, if you are an emotional manifesting generator, then you are going to need to wait for emotional clarity to decide and then pay attention to your gut response. This creates clarity for business evolution. The third thing is to recognize the mental anxiety and where it's coming from. When worry hits, pause. Ask, is this my mind's fear and my worry? And is this something I need to worry about? Or is this my authority's guidance? In my coaching, I guide my clients to this, evolving from confusion to certainty by tapping into their natural genius, their inner wisdom, and that knowing of their authority. It leads you to the right decision every time as you get in alignment with it, okay? I'm not saying it's necessarily always easy, but just even that awareness and understanding can lead to massive changes in the way you run your business now. And the fourth is to think about how you can get out of your mind. Are there some rituals that you can do to either hit pause or stop or exit when you find yourself going down into the loop, when you are building bureaucracy in your own brain, okay? And that can be harder if you have a lot of definition there, because you'll have there's not a lot of room for anything else to come in, and you can be deaf to other people's advice and wisdom. You can be kind of quite uncoachable at times, even if you're investing in programs. Look to where perhaps you are being deaf to that next level of inspiration and wisdom and where the mind's closing you off. But perhaps you can just take a break, go for a walk, even just close your eyes for a moment. I'm not a huge meditator. I do meditate, but I can only really do it for normally about 10 minutes because my mind is very busy. And understanding that I can't necessarily still my mind, it's a little bit like emotional authority. It's very hard to still your emotions, especially when you've got a lot of definition there. But I can still take that break and allow the other knowing to come in, okay, and inspire me. Then I go to my authority to decide. I allow other elements to come in and take me out of that loop. And by honoring your mind this way, your business evolution becomes peaceful. From stuck status quo to innovative leaps, without over-efforting, without energy drain. It's a counterintuitive path to profit. Less thinking, more trusting. And less breaking stuff that works and having to rebuild it over again. And we all want that. I want less effort for you because I know you're here to do amazing things in this world and I want you to be able to do them. And getting stuck overthinking is not going to get you there. So if this mind trap resonates, it's time to decode your mind's role in your business growth. Head on over to victoriagibson.com, grab your free human design energy guide. It's going to reveal your mind's strengths and how to evolve without the pressure. And if you're ready for guided business evolution that taps into your own inner truth, your solution is here. This 6-phase mastermind uses your success codes for effortless leaps. Spots opening now. DM me on Instagram at I am Victoria Gibson or reach out via email on my website to find out more. Okay, have a great week and I'll see you next time. Thanks for joining me on this episode. If you want to dive deeper and get the practical path to leverage your human design and turn energy blocks into business breakthroughs, then you're going to want to see my latest class. Make sure you head to victoriagibson.com and click on the Watch the Class tab, and you can uncover more about what is encoded within your energetic blueprint and how you can harness it for unlimited success and to step into your true potential. I cannot wait to see you over there.